Good morning. Well, that was a wonderful response, even though there's not many here. Our voices are strong and sure. Welcome to Althea, our wonderful center here. Bless you. Blessings to everyone, sneeze or no sneeze. My name is Rick Kitzman, by the way. I'm a member here and have been for a few years. Catherine is Newell, our spiritual director, is taking her day off today, and so we have a wonderful service with guest speaker and our guest musician, of course, whom you just heard, and that her name is Angie Cat, and she'll be performing for us a couple of times during the service. Can't wait to hear that beautiful guitar again. So one quick piece of business, no, two. National Pancake Day is March 1st. I think that's crucial to know, especially if you're a pancake aficionado like myself. IHOP is having I think 7 to 4 free short stack, so take advantage of it. What the heck? And the second announcement is if you have a cell phone, if you wouldn't mind, please putting it on vibrate or silent or stun or just some setting so it doesn't go off during the service. Our Sergeant at Arms, Sarma Ilgenfritz. Raise your hand, Sarma. She will deal with you in a very harsh way. So you do not want to experience that. No, I don't think so. Let's see. What else? Let's do an opening prayer. So for those of, do we have any newcomers here? Oh, wonderful. 1, 2, 3. Keep your hands up. 4. Yes. 5. We have wonderful. Thank you so much for coming and sharing your day with us. We're going to hand out a flower, beautiful Gerber daisies today. And thank you so much for sharing your day with us. And it's really good to have new faces here. So we hope that we earn your respect and love and you come back. And the flower is just to acknowledge your presence here so that we can thoroughly embarrass you after. No, I'm just kidding. Well, maybe not. But to just welcome you. And if you would like, please leave your email address. That's the best way to know what's happening here, to get on the email list for the newsletter, which comes out once, sometimes twice a week. There's always something happening here. Is the comedy group still happening, Rick? Yeah. Fridays and Saturday nights? You've got to see the comedy group here. It's amazing and funny, which I guess is very helpful, right? All right, now the opening prayer. So if you're comfortable, just close your eyes. And just breathe. And if you're comfortable, just take a deep breath. And just let out a long sigh. Just releasing that breath. Feeling your shoulders just sink into the chair. Yet knowing that chair and this planet of Earth supports you, even during times when we may feel we are not supported. When we concentrate on our breath, we are acknowledging that presence of spirit, of mind, of God, of Buddha, of Allah, Krishna, Shiva, Yahweh, Great Spirit, whatever we call it, whatever you call it, whatever you're comfortable with. And that union we simply allow to be. And it is when we get quiet that we recognize its presence. Always there for us at any given second. And we come here to this beautiful sanctuary to replenish our faith, to replenish our minds and hearts. Because this human experience that we are having is interesting and filled with joys and filled with sorrows and challenges. And we know that when we concentrate on our breath and we unify ourselves with mind, that every single person on this planet is that divine face of God, unique and whole and complete as is. And it is these spiritual principles that each and every one of you, and each and every one of us are challenged with every single day. How do we explain what's happening in the world? If everyone is a perfect, whole, and complete child of God, why so much misery? Why so much sorrow? Why war? Why the threat of annihilation? Why the destruction or the destructive practices of our home? And what do we do with any answers that we come up with? We must, in our each and own way, keep the high watch. We must look at those whom we disagree with eyes of divine perfection and see their divine perfection. Namaste is not just a word. It's not just a word. The light in me salutes the light in you. That is its translation. But that one word is a way of life. And we come here to gather strength from each other, to know that we are not alone in this world with thinking that there is goodness in this world, that there is peace, that our thoughts, our feelings matter, and that we, in each of our own ways, can change the world. And indeed, someone once said, a small group of people, never underestimate them for changing the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that has. And so we keep the high watch. No matter what we read, no matter what we see. And it is an opportunity for us to simply show the compassion towards those who are suffering and to those who are waging the wars. They cannot be happy. They cannot be happy. And so we hold the high watch. And I simply declare and know, with a heart filled with gratitude for each and every one of you here, gratitude that as we experience today's message from Sarah and the music from Angie, that we will be able to face the world anew with great strength and great love and peace and compassion, for we are here to also be of service and to keep the high watch. And so with another breath, let us just let all of this go. Let us just relax in the presence of our message and our music and each other and this glorious space. And we know, with hearts filled with conviction and assurance, that the world is peace and love and harmony. And we know this through our hearts and our minds. And together we say, and so it is. Amen. And now we'll have the statement of being read from Daryl and our community song.
Good morning. Please stand as you're able and join me in the statement of being, followed by Face of God. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of love. I hold you in my heart. We are a family. You are the face of God.
Thank you, Gerald. Our musical guest today is Angie Cat. And from an early age, Angie Cat loved singing and just knew that it was in her soul's DNA to share her music with the world. And we've had a very brief taste of it, so looking so forward to more. She's an award-winning singer-songwriter with 2 CDs available and more to come. She also shares her voice in mindfulness and guided meditations and offers free Your Voice vocal coaching to those who want to access their inner Ella Fitzgerald or Frank Sinatra, I guess. Sorry, that was really dated me, didn't it? Good Lord. All right, Beyonce. Well, even she's getting up there, isn't she? To those who want to tap their way into divine expression through their authentic voice. Please welcome Angie Cat.
Thank you so much. It's so beautiful to be here. What a beautiful community. My first song I'd like to share with you is called Release, and it's really about letting go of the things that are holding us back from the truest expression of who we really are. So, and I'm going to invite you to sing at some point, so be prepared. There's a quiz. Empty canvas, blank page. Do you keep those colors in a cage? Break the rules, suffer the fools. Freedom is the way you choose. When everything you think you know keeps dragging you down below. Release, release, let it go, and let your life unfold. Open your eyes, arms wide. You were meant for the skies. Feet on the ground, are you still bound? Are you ready to live out loud? When everything you think you know keeps dragging you down below. Release, release, let it go, and let your life unfold. Who named you? Who told you the sky was blue? How do you know what is false and what is true? Rewrite your story, speak a new word. The power is within you. Here's your part. Release, release, it go, whatever's on your heart. Release, release it. Let it go one more time. Release, release it. Let it go. Swim the deep end, let your heart mend. You are bigger than you pretend. Don't look down, cast away the doubt. Rise up and take up your crown. When everything you think you know keeps dragging you down below. Release, release, let it go, and let your life unfold. Release it, let it go. Release, release it, let it go.
Oh my gosh, that was just beautiful. Thank you so much. What beautiful song, beautiful voice. Thank you. Well, it's my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Sarah Allie Moore. I knew I liked her right away because she spells her first name like my mother with an H on the end, which is the only correct way to spell Sarah. Just saying. So we bonded over that. She's an embodiment coach, a TEDx speaker, and activist whose work centers on a deep love for the body's humanity. As a childhood survivor of abuse, sexual trauma, and addiction, she has a deep understanding and compassion for the wounds we carry and a deep knowing of the power and strength we all possess to rise above the not enough story and arrive at wholeness. Sarah Allie believes that the most revolutionary act we can do is to love that which we find unlovable, starting with yourself first. Please welcome Sarah Allie Moore.
Good morning, everyone. It is such an honor to be here with you today. And it is an incredible honor and what a gift, today's prayer and your song that you've brought this huge gift to us today, Angie, and the topic that we're talking about, which is joy. So if you would, if it calls to you, I welcome you to close your eyes for a moment and think about the word joy. Call it into your mind, and then feel into your body. Where does joy land for you? Perhaps it's a foundation beneath your feet. Is it a stirring in your gut, in your solar plexus? Perhaps it radiates through your heart. Is it filling the space of your crown chakra? Connect to that joy and where it resides in your body. And then what I'd like you to do is to take 3 deep breaths, and in your inhale, breathe in joy. And on your exhale, say to yourself, I expand joy. And when you're done, you'll open your eyes. So together, let's take 3 deep breaths. Inhale, I am joy. Exhale, I expand joy. Inhale, I am joy. Exhale, I expand joy. Inhale, I am joy. And exhale, I expand joy. And then open your eyes when you're ready. Welcome home to yourself. Now we're coming to the end of Black History Month, and it is quite an interesting time. We find ourselves in such a marker for what is unfolding over this past week, thinking about our history and the sober reality of our shared past and the pain of that past, and a reality that history can repeat itself, and letting that be what guides us to be vigilant, right? So yesterday I was at the Alpaca Fair, and I was with a friend of mine, and we were walking around, and we stopped in a booth, and I came across this cute, cuddly little thing, pretty fluffy. It's a unicorn. It's covered in the most fluffiest alpaca fur you've ever seen. And I thought, oh, should I buy that for myself? I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Why would I buy a fluffy unicorn, you know? So I set it back on the shelf. I pointed it out to my friend, and we continued to walk around. And by the end of our time at the fair, we decided to stop back at that booth because my friend had something that she wanted to purchase. And as she went to go grab what she purchased, and I was talking to someone, I wasn't paying attention, she walked over and she handed me this unicorn. And she said, Sarah, you have to get this. It's for your inner child. Now, she didn't know, but recently I've been doing a lot of work with my inner child, and so it was kismet, had to come home with me. But buying this unicorn was a moment of me accessing a moment of joy. We are in a time right now, and have been in a time right now, that has been filled with transition, conflict, turmoil, fear. Feels very unsteady. And what a blessing that we can come together now. We're coming out, we're coming together, we're reclaiming our power and the power of community. This past week, I was really surprised coming here today talking about freedom, joy, and agency. And in 1 week, we find all 3 of these principles and values coming to the forefront right now. And all the things that are shaking us up can bring forward so many emotions: anxiety, despair, frustration, confusion, perhaps apathy, the lack of just not caring because really what you don't have is any more energy to do so because everything feels so heavy. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful that these are the emotions that are coming through because they are showing us our humanity. They are connecting us to our heart, and they're showing us that we get to feel in this time right now. We get to feel it all. Our hearts are breaking, but our hearts are breaking open. We are in a process right now and in a time that is breaking us open to life in new ways. And the beauty of that heart-breaking energy is that it draws us to joy. Because on the other side of our heartbreak lies joy. Now, what exactly is joy? I've heard several definitions for joy, and perhaps you have your own. But one of my mentors shared a definition with me that I really love, and I think it hits really close to home, which is that joy is the positive attitude that comes from being connected to yourself. Joy is personal. It's not something you do, it's something you are. It's how you are being. It is your original nature. And accessing our joy is really when we come into the power and the remembrance of who we are. When we're shaken amongst all the conflict and the fear that is stirring in the world, so often we go to our minds trying to figure out and find some semblance of control, trying to make sense of what happens, looking for solutions, working it out, creating all of this discourse, trying to figure things out, and it leaves us very narrowed on what is possible. But if we just take a moment to get out of our heads and to get into our hearts, to access our joy, which takes you right there, what we remember is the wisdom that we carry from the history that we've gone through, because we've learned the lessons. We've gone through this before. We've been here before. We've been through this many times before. We are already carrying the wisdom. And when we come into our bodies, when we get rooted in our joy, we have access to the wisdom that lets us know we already know what to do. We already have the answers. We already know the step to take. That's radically different than what we've done before. And we can access the courage to do that. Now, Black History Month has been something that I have struggled with, conflicting emotions around, because there are two conversations that typically happen. The first conversation is typically one that's rooted around exploring our shared story of pain and shame, right? What we've done in the past, the pain of our past. But that energy somehow keeps us feeling very disempowered moving forward. And so now there's a growing conversation around shifting towards one that is about celebrating our history, celebrating the contributions of Black people, celebrating the wins, the innovations, the Black diaspora, Black culture, Black leadership, many parts of our history that are beautiful and powerful, that were kept and hidden away, right? Where those things are coming to the surface. It's a much better energy, because what it does is it allows us to connect to something that leaves us feeling empowered, where we begin to share a story that's rooted in joy versus our shame. Because our shame is the process of internalizing the belief that we are not enough. And that enough story is what keeps us stuck, what keeps us from moving forward. Accessing our joy, our stories of joy, how we embody our joy and walk that joy forward, is what is most important for our healing. I want to read this to you about when we're exploring our history. What's most important for us to remember is how we connect joy to the heart of everything. Our shame informs us that we are capable of what we are capable of doing to others when we are not doing the work that we need to walk open-hearted in life. And our shame is also the opportunity to to be the greatest stewards of our hearts and how we create security for ourselves and others. Creating security for ourselves and others. That's when we start to move into agency. Our agency, your power. What exactly is agency? Agency can be defined as having the power and the resources available to you in order to reach your full potential. What is it to feel powerful and to be resourced to reach your potential? And now when I say potential, I know I'm speaking to a room of you and those of you who are online joining us today. You understand the power and the magnitude of potential. It is who you are. It is who I am. It is who we are together. It is oneness. It is source. It is something greater than all of us. It's the wish we have for ourselves, the wish we carry in our hearts for those who we love and our communities, our potential. The civil rights movement was rooted around agency, fighting for personal agency. And while it started, first focused on rights for Black people, sovereignty and freedom, privilege, right? Access, equity, equality, inclusion. It expanded, and we can see that even in Martin Luther King's message. He went and started expanding to all of humanity, every single person, personal agency. Just in this past week, with what's happening in the world, the declaration of war, what's happening in Texas, stripping away the agency of the trans community. We are constantly exploring and diving into what does it mean, how important is it to us to protect and safeguard agency. This isn't about personhood. This is about potential. This is the right to access joy in your life. What I guided you through, right? Tapping into joy, what that feels like. Maybe you brought forward some memories that connected you to joy. It's the joy you wish for every single person who you know and love. That is what we're fighting for. The path towards true agency is really about shedding those layers of shame. And I'm always speaking about the place and the seat of our power for anything always begins with ourselves. And I know you know that because of the work and the love and the heart that you bring, who you are in this community here. It always begins with the self. Sometimes we forget that. And so the ways that we ensure our own joy, how we regulate our own systems in the midst of crisis, conflict, and fear, all of that helps us to create the healing, the transformative healing that is necessary for us to move forward towards true restorative justice, towards real peace in the world, towards that oneness that we all know and carry. You've probably heard that 5%, what we're creating in the world, 5% of our energy is coming from our minds. And 95% of our potential and what we create from comes right from here, straight from the heart. So when we're looking for solutions rather than going to the mind, trying to figure it out, trying to rationalize to the ego, right? When we drop into our heart, that's where we begin to, one, regulate our systems so we can actually show up in the world and have something to offer and carry forward. And it gives us the power to create real change. The power of a healed, whole healed person is both a threat and a miracle, right? When we are whole and healed, we are not operating from pain anymore. All the crisis and conflict and tension and chaos that we're facing, that's our wounds playing out, right? We can't control a large problem out in the world until we can access and do the healing work right here at home. And so much of that work is how we tap into our joy, how we access joy. When we are healed and whole, we participate in the world differently. We advocate and support innovations, legislation, measures, right, that secure our human rights. We lead with peace and certainty towards creating real unity, and we build freedom on earth, this new earth that we've heard today. How we do so in the path towards doing that is how we embody our joy. And when we embody our joy, that's where we discover resilience and oneness. And from that place, we can live our joy and we can extend it. And there's a conversation that I've heard around the need to protect our joy. And it's not so much about protecting our joy as it is about a committed, dedicated presence to staying in alignment with joy at all times. It is the higher path. It is the way that we actually stay rooted in our power and can actually have the most power to create transformation. Some of the ways that we might access joy is time spent without purpose. Just doing things because you love to do them, not because they make any sense. Like buying a fluffy unicorn, okay? Going to the alpaca fair, it's okay. Doing things that make you lose track of time. So this can be diving into things that feed your creativity, things that feed your spirit, doing things that make you feel alive, that bring aliveness to you. If you notice that you're getting tired or weary or you just don't have the energy, it's because you need to start filling yourself up. And what I recommend doing is to think about the people, places, and things, and I write them down. I have an actual sheet that I go to at times. Because when you are really in the darkness, and I feel like what is unfolding and where we're headed, it's going to be challenging for a while. But on the other side, where we find that joy and discover it, and the resilience of what's coming, is so much about how we engage in our lives and staying connected to the things that give and bring you aliveness. And last but not least, matter of fact, it should be first of all things, is how we practice gratitude. And I'm sure you all have some way that you practice gratitude because it's part of being a spiritual being on this journey of life. But the more we practice gratitude, the more things open for us, the more that life responds in like to what we desire and what we desire for one another. I want to close with this reading. It's just a short reading here by Mark Nepo in the Book of Awakening. Do any of you know this book? It's a wonderful book. It has 365 mindfulness readings that you can meditate on. But there's one here that I think really describes what it is to embody the aliveness of joy. So it's called How Does It Taste? An aging Hindu master grew tired of his apprentice complaining, and so one morning sent him for some salt. When the apprentice returned, the master instructed the unhappy young man to put a handful of salt in a glass of water and then drink it. How does it taste? The master asked. Bitter, spat the apprentice. The master chuckled and then asked the young man to take some handful of salt and put it in the lake. The two walked in silence to the nearby lake, and once the apprentice rolled his handful of salt in the water, the old man said, "Now drink from the lake." As the water dripped down the young man's chin, the master asked, "How does it taste?" "Do you taste the salt?" asked the master. The apprentice replied, "No, it is fresh." At this, the master sat beside the serious young man, who so reminded him of himself, and took his hands, offering, "The pain of life is pure salt, no more, no less. The amount of pain in life remains the same, exactly the same. But the amount of bitterness we taste depends on the container we put the pain in. So when you are in pain, the only thing you can do is to enlarge your sense of things. Stop being a glass. Be a lake." Right? How we embody our joy, how we let joy lead us forward, how we safeguard joy for others through personal agency and demanding personal agency for each person, access to our potential. That is being the lake. Our healing begins the moment we do our healing work, right? What I would ask for each of you over this next week in your practice is to just take 3 minutes to sit with the spirit of joy and allow it to inform you, to give you the wisdom in this time to fill your cup, so that together we can continue towards creating this new earth and what we truly want and foster for one another. Thank you.
Well, it's very difficult to follow that, so I'm going to give it my best shot. That was amazing message, and I don't know about the rest of you, but every time I hear a message like that, it's like, is she talking to me? Is she talking to me? That we are born from, we can return to Eden. We can always go back to Eden in here. So, here we go. Dusty road leads me to nowhere, miles and miles of traveling alone. Took a wrong turn somewhere and ended up where I started from. be someplace better than this. So I'm looking everywhere for a sign. All I have to do is stop and ask directions. Now, just what was it I was trying to find? Take me to the place where the sun shines on smiling faces under blue, blue skies, where my heart is happy and free, living a life of joy and meaning. Oh, that's the reason I'm going back to Eden. Take me back to Eden. Thought I had to leave to get anywhere, to be any place than where I am. I looked around and finally realized paradise is right before my eyes. Take me to the place where the sun shines on smiling face. Oh, that's the reason I'm going back to Eden. Take me back to Eden. When I close my eyes, I remember, I think I've been here before. No need to run, just surrender. I'm not searching anymore. Take me to the place where the sun shines on smiling faces under blue, blue skies. Oh, take me to the place where the sun shines on smiling faces under blue, blue skies, where my heart is happy and free, living a life of joy and meaning. Oh, that's the reason I'm going back to Eden. Take me back to Eden. I'm going back to Eden.
Oh, thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you so much, Angie. Beautiful, beautiful. It's time to open up your pocketbooks as well as your heart. As the ushers start passing around the baskets, please do so. And I'm working in an estate sale, and they had some records, you know, those round discs, vinyl. And there was one from Captain and Tennille. Yes, you will date yourself if you know Captain and Tennille, but I saw that song, Love Will Keep Us Together. And so let us let love keep us together. And with a heart filled with gratitude, simply giving, you know, what you can from the heart. Althea has been a place of agency, letting people expand their potential for over 100 years. And so if you would like to keep that going, please give away. You can go to our website. We have a dip jar in the back. And you can also become an Evergreen member and set up a monthly donation. And what else? Oh, what? Oh, can we text on the phone now? Pretty sure. And for those of you... Oh, the text service is no longer. Okay. Oh. And those of you who are visiting us online, please use those buttons available to donate or subscribe. Thank you so much. And we'll have a prayer here from Mike. So ushers, if you are done, bring your donations forward. And we'll have a prayer of gratitude from our member Mike Carter.
So we give thanks for these generous offerings. We call upon the divine to bless these gifts that our community can both grow and thrive. May these contributions enhance our vision for the future, that we may celebrate our growth in both wisdom and love. And so it is. Amen.
Thank you, Mike. Last week was the first week we were open again, and Catherine did a wonderful exercise called Prayers from the People. Sarma, can you pass around? Or, yes, please, thank you. And it was simply an opening to the attendants here about what's on your mind, in your heart, that we as a community can, that you as an individual can express to the community. Any issues, problems, thoughts, prayers that you would like to get out there in the universe. Yes.
I would like to offer a prayer. What you said, Rick, I thought that was so important. The invaders can't be happy. So I would like to pray for them, that they totally understand what's right and what's wrong.
Thank you. Anything on an individual basis anyone's thinking of? Prayers for Ukraine.
Prayers for
Absolutely. Thank you. Prayers for Russia. Absolutely. Prayers for Texas. Yes. Prayers for world peace.
Thank you to Sarah for helping me remember that my work is my inner work. And when I do that, then I can tap that joy, and then it can come out.
Truly true. Truly true. Anyone else?
A prayer and a manifestation that COVID is really, really over, and that these numbers are going to drop so low that everyone we know feels comfortable coming back out into the world. They feel safe and healthy and fine, and they start coming to Althea on Sundays, and we start having lunch again, and.
Yes, thank you. So just getting these thoughts out into the universe is how they become manifest. So as a community, thank you. Thank you. Well, it's time to wrap up. A few announcements first. We have the Gong Bath. Is that today? Right, the Gong Bath is today. We also have our organization of Mariposa, led by Tim Wilson. There is an outing to see a production of Choir Boy. And this is a Broadway debut of the Oscar winner for Best Adapted Screenplay of Moonlight. This person wrote this. It's going to be at the Denver Center. And if you would like to sign up for it, please, the group rate is $65. For 8 tickets, it's $53. So for a wonderful night of a coming-of-age story featuring gorgeous gospel music, don't hesitate to go to the Denver Center Theater as part of this group from Althea and sponsored by Tim Wilson and Mariposa. They're getting it together. And you can see Tim about it. Is there anywhere else? Yes, go ahead. Okay, so deadline is Tuesday for group tickets, so if you're interested, let them know ASAP. Also, Mariposa is having its first Wednesday Diversity Dialogue this Wednesday, March 2nd. Social time starts at 6. This will be live, correct? Will it be in the Darwin's Den? Okay, in Darwin's Den. It's a great way to experience community. Greg Katz one of our active Mariposa members, will lead a discussion of the book Together, The Healing Power of Human Connection in a Sometimes Lonely World. So I'm sure that's something that we could all get something from. So please join that in-person gathering in Darwin's Den. Don't forget also Kathy Humphrey's community groups, which meets Thursdays still at 11:30? 11 o'clock. 11. And if you feel like wanting, again, an opportunity to experience community, don't hesitate to sign up for this group. Kathy pours her heart and soul into it, and I have heard nothing but good about the dedication and the hard work and thought and love that she puts into the topics, and the participants who voice their opinions and feelings about that. So a great way to experience community. We need volunteers. This place is not run by itself. So if you have the calling to be of service, do we have any specific needs, Sarma? Okay, everything. Oh, well, greeters, stoking up the, the fireplace in the basement on cold Sundays, shoveling snow. No. Let's see. Well, coffee afterwards when that starts up again. Greeters. We need greeters. What else? Lights. Someone to run the lights. Greeters. So if you're moved, see Sarma. So it's a great way to feel connected, even more so than just coming here for Sunday services. Gone Bad volunteers. March will begin Women's History Month, so that will certainly provide us with lots of information since this place was founded by women. Anything else? Yes, Barbara. Okay, so the annual general meeting will be March 27th on a Sunday after a service. Please, you'll get notifications of this. I believe a flyer was just mailed out. There will be notifications in the email blasts. It's a great way to find out where Althea has been and where Althea is going. So, hope you can all attend. And it is for everybody. We do not have coffee today. Yes. You did not come back. I did. The gong bath will be after the service, which is, I think it... $12:30, $25. $12:30, $25. Okay. Anything else? I told you there was a lot going on here for you newbies. I was not kidding. I was not kidding. All right, we will have a closing prayer from Connie Carter. And prayer partners. I lead the prayer partners. Why do I forget that? Prayer partners, if you need an affirmative prayer, they will be available at the prayer office, Pam Getty's prayer room, just right outside here. So if you're unfamiliar with affirmative prayer, this is a way to tell your prayer partner an issue, a problem, or a joy, and how you can use spiritual principles and affirmations to get some results. Connie, would you like to do the closing prayer? And then we will close out with another tune from Angie Cass. Do you want to use the microphone? Where's the microphone? Where's the microphone? That would be. Thank
you. So is this on? Okay. So I think rather than climbing up on the stage, I'm just going to stand down here. And so let's take this time to really go into our heart and to be present with not only what is, but what can be. To absolutely know that there is one power, one infinite wisdom that is unfolding in, through, and as this universe. And it is that wisdom that we turn to, that Sarah talked about, that we each have the opportunity to embrace and to claim as we go forward out into our week, knowing that the joy of life is alive and well. That right here, right now, there is the opportunity for each one of us to show up, to be present, to love, to fill our hearts with so much joy that the universe will expand it and grow it and be it throughout each moment. And so with that joy firmly in place, we say thank you. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, for the opportunity to be. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this time that we have spent together. Thank you for all of life, for it is good and very good. And so with a grateful heart, we say thank you and amen. And we go in peace. And so it is.
Do we have the words up on the screen or no? Ah, excellent. So this is a song by one of my dear friends, Denise Rosier. It's called Joy in My Day. So we're going to sing this. I'm going to guide you. And we're going to do the first part twice and the second part twice, and then we'll do it all over again. So here we go. Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. Join me. Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. Let's do that part once more. Love in the words I say, peace in the world I make, God in every breath I take, joy in my day, joy in my day. Here's the second part. We are lifted up, we are lifted love in the words I say.